Hit it, Phil.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze, it's Jackson time. La-da-da-da.
Stay tuned.
Right after this episode.
For our discussion.
From the sun and fun capital of the world, Miami Beach, we bring you the Jackie Gleason Show. Starring Jackie Gleason.
With Sonny Sands, Aaron Williams, and special guest star Jack Benny, the June Taylor Dancers, and Sammy Spear and his orchestra. And away we go!
How sweet it is! There he is, our orchestra leader, Sammy Spear. Take a bow, Sam. That's what I call a jacket. That jacket was made out of 1,000 butterflies. That's why you'll always see a man following Sam with a net. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wonderful show lined up for you tonight, and I'm particularly happy to have one of my all-time favorites with me. And here he is, the one and only Jack Benny. Well, welcome to Miami Beach, Jack.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Jackie. And you know, I've heard about your diet, but I cannot get over it.
Is that so?
You look just wonderful. I couldn't believe it.
Well.
Until let me, really, no, really, that really is marvelous. Amazing. Let me look all over.
Yes, go ahead. Another turn around. Say.
You know, this is the first time I've been able to walk around you without taking oxygen. Jackie, what finally made you decide to go on this drastic diet?
Well, you know, Jack, I've been dieting all my life. As a matter of fact, I have a closet with 2 sets of clothes. One for when I lose weight, one for when I gain weight. As a matter of fact, that's what prompted me to go on the diet.
You mean you couldn't get into your clothes, huh?
I couldn't get into the closet.
Well, tell me, Jackie, what kind of a diet were you on?
Well, it was a low-carbohydrate diet. And it was really murder. You know, the things I had to give up.
Like what, for instance?
Well, I had to cut out the olive in my martinis, the orange peel in my old-fashions, the lemon peel in my Scotch mist, and the cherry in my Manhattans.
You know, that's a coincidence.
It is?
Because when I went on a diet, I had to take the raisins out of my tapioca. But, Jackie, I cannot get over the fact that you look so good.
Well, I don't understand you saying that I look good. You're the one. Look at how good you look. You look sensational.
I think so.
I mean.
I look good.
You're so young looking.
Well, Jackie, I'll tell you something, but keep it confidential.
Oh, certainly.
In fact, I wish we weren't on television. I hate to tell you.
That's all right.
You know, you've heard of these heart transplants.
Yes.
Well, this is the face of a 19-year-old boy.
It is.
Yeah. But the rest of me, No, really, it's the face of a 19... When a pretty girl passes me now, my eye winks. But the rest of me keeps walking.
Well, really, you look great. I'm serious about it. Now, tell me, how do you keep in shape? You know.
Well, the key is, of course, exercise.
Oh.
Every morning I get up and I take a long walk. I don't care what town I'm in. I take a long walk, you see. And you're smart to do that if you want to keep in condition. You should walk like I do. You know, light and bouncy, you know. Like that.
You want me to walk through town like this?
Yeah.
You don't want me to lose weight. You want to get me arrested. That's what you want. Now, the important thing is that you're here. And I want to know, are you happy? Is anything I can do for you? Just let me know. Is everything all right?
Everything is perfect.
Well, that's great.
Except one little thing. My dressing room.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Well, who used that dressing room last? I mean, was it, say, Jane Morgan?
No.
Was it Peggy Lee?
No.
Then it must have been the Lennon sisters, huh?
No. Oh, the last one to use that dressing room was Milton Berle.
Oh. Then that explains it. All those evening gowns.
By the way, now that we're on the subject of complaints, do you have any others? How was your flight down?
Oh, my flight was perfect.
Oh.
And the food was delicious.
Oh, then you came first class.
No, but I helped with the dishes.
Well, I'm glad your flight was all right.
Oh, don't get me wrong, Jackie. Everything is marvelous. I have no complaints.
Well.
In fact, you've treated me so good down here that I want to do something for you. I want to throw you a party.
You want to throw me a party?
Yes.
You must know how much it's going to cost to throw a party for me down here.
I don't care, Jackie. I want to go all the way. But I need a little advice. Being from California, I'm not familiar with the type, you know, parties you throw in Miami Beach. Now, are your parties formal or informal?
Oh, our parties are very informal. And the first thing I have to do is rent a hotel.
You mean you're not saying that right. You mean a hotel room.
No, I mean a hotel. You need a lot of room. You know, you got to have a place that's big enough so you can have a bar, a big buffet, room for a lot of people, a place for dancing.
Well, I know the perfect place. We'll hold it in your car.
You can't hold it in my car. I rented that out to the American Legion Convention.
Because I do want to throw you a party, Jack.
Well,
I
all
really
right.
do.
Why don't we cut it down a minimum? All you have to do is have a lot of food.
Food.
Yeah, you know, roast beef, turkey, caviar.
Caviar?
Yes, fish eggs.
I know what it is. Fish egg. But isn't caviar terribly expensive?
Well, it's about $25 a pound.
$25 a pound. How many eggs to a pound?
Look, forget about the caviar. And for dancing, you can have Sammy Spear and his orchestra. And if you want a little entertainment, we'll get the June Taylor dancers.
That sounds very good, except we don't need all that food. Because, first place, you're on a diet, right?
Right.
We don't need Sammy Spear's orchestra, because I play the violin. And we certainly don't need the June Taylor dancers. I've got all of Milton Berle's dresses.
Look, why don't you forget it, Jack? If you're worried about the expense, why don't you just get an empty lot, fill it with mud, and call it a rock festival?
Sammy, how much does mud cost now?
Wait a minute! Look, go backstage, make a call, find out how much mud costs, and I'll call you out later. Is that all right with you?
That's a good idea, but I can't go right now. I'll tell you why. I made a $10 bet with George Burns. Now, you know Burns is my closest friend.
Yes, I do.
No matter what he says about me, he's my closest friend. I made a $10 bet that when I left the stage right now, I would leave to a thunderous ovation.
A thunderous ovation? Well, how are you going to do that?
It's very simple. Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, Miami Beach audiences are the greatest in the whole world.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's a guy who started out breaking him up in Miami Beach. Since then, he's traveled all over the country, and he's been a hit wherever he appears. And there's a good reason for it. He's a very funny guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny Sands. Well, my boy, how do you feel?
Beautiful, great. I got the biggest break of my career. I got a part in a picture. It's going to make me a star. It's a science fiction picture. It's a story about a quarter of a pound of chopped liver that escapes from a delicatessen and destroys Philadelphia. And I got a part for you, too.
A part for me in this? What do I play?
You play a piece of chopped onion in this picture. Terrific.
I'm leaving.
I try to help him, he doesn't listen. But show business appearance and show business is so very important. Nobody guesses my correct height because of my posture. 6'3". I don't look it. But you notice my hair never falls in my eyes. Why is this? Posture. The whole world is born bald. My first year, I grew 22 hairs, which is very nice, you know. My second year, 51 hairs. My third year, 96 hairs. Finished. Didn't look so bad then. I was only 3 years old. I had a much smaller head. Today, it don't look so hot, you know. But we have a local commercial where the fella comes out, he says, "We grow hair on doorknobs." I believe everything. I went to the address, walked upstairs to the door, opened up a hairy doorknob, walked in, there was a guy sitting there with hair all the way down to his knees. I said, "My gosh, you do grow hair." He said, "We certainly do." I said, "Well, how?" He says, "You buy this jar, you go home and you rub. 4 weeks, you'll grow hair." I rubbed 8 weeks and I grew hair on my fingertips. I always try to save my hair. I once bought a product that was called Stay Bald. It doesn't save the hair, it shrinks the head. Makes the hair look thicker. I read somewhere it said bald-headed men have a new theory. They're not bald, everybody else is hairy. That was my best joke. You know, this is true, and no reflection here, please, but in my experience, no matter what size an audience, there's always 1 or 2 people, they think this is a lecture. I'll prove it to you. One day after a show, this lady accosted me. I'd thrown one big word on account of the glasses. She says to me, "Mr. Sands," Sonny Sands is not my name, it's a stage name. I don't know her name either. Why start an argument? So I said, "Yes." I'm quick, you know. I throw in a yes once in a while. She says, "You talk so much about television, you sound so angry. I've never seen you on television." I said, "That's why I'm angry." I didn't think this was such a healthy attitude, and I went to a psychiatrist, and I told him my problem for about an hour, and when I finished, he told me to play golf. Well, I bought golf sticks, golf balls, earrings, beads, a mink stole, open-toe sandals to pick up cigarette butts while I'm walking. I went to tee off, I hit the ball 3 feet. Fella teeing off after me, he's wearing torn pants, sneakers, no golf ball, a potato. 180 yards, he hit the potato. After 91 strokes, I came near the first green. The guy with the potato was going home already. He finished all the 18 holes. He decided to help me. He said, when you hit the ball, flick your wrist. Chickens, I know how to flick. I finally hit the ball and went over the green into the woods. You heard of people losing golf balls? I lost the club right after the ball. I went back to the psychiatrist. The door was open. He had a patient, a kleptomaniac, a nut who steals things. I heard him say, you're cured. You'll never have the wish to steal another thing. But if you should have a relapse, try to pick me up a refrigerator. There's so much subject matter about psychiatry. This is the truth. One day I was sitting in one of the beach hotels in the afternoon, minding my business. A young fellow walked by. Under his jacket, he had pajamas on. Pajamas. I says, ooh, it's a nut. I was wrong. He was a honeymooner. He didn't know where to go, but he was dressed. A busy honeymooner. Well, where do you think the honeymooners go? Budapest? They come here. June, we're packed with honeymooners. We got one hotel that's most of the honeymoon business called Hotel Bent Over. Used to be a straight building. They originally opened 15 years ago. They originally had 12 partners. The most abnormal season in the world. Very, very cold. No tourists, no business. The 12 partners had a meeting every 2 minutes. They talked, finally came to a decision. Suicide. All 12 partners walked out on the beach, took hands, walked right into the ocean. 2 came back, double-crossed the other 10. They now own the hotel. Next door, there's another hotel. You walk by, you see a naked statue stands like this. Who do you think this is? Used to be a partner. Why do you think he's got his hand out? Wants his money back. Seems he ran out of money before they finished the hotel. Despondently jumped out of a window into the wet cement. They made a nice statue. Put his name right here, Levine. He's now a silent partner. You know, I tease about Miami Beach, but I tease with affection because I love it down here. Thank you so much for listening.
Stay tuned for more of the Jackie Gleason Show, starring Jackie Gleason and special guest star Jack Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, our producer Jack Philbin is always on the lookout for fresh talent. And tonight, we've come up with a real winner. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Williams and his friend Freddie.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to have a dummy on the show.
Well, get off the stage then, Dunny.
Oh, wait a minute, Freddie.
Sorry about that.
I can manipulate you, you know.
This I gotta see.
Would you like to see me manipulate you?
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Mildred,
Watch this. It ain't gonna work. Come on.
this isn't going to work, huh?
Uh-oh.
Thank you. Wish I could manipulate her. Get him in there. Up there. Wait a minute now. You okay? Right. If you please. We come to the frivolous a beginning sort of again. Oh, anything to get a free drink. Here you are, man.
My goodness. What's the matter, Freddie? I didn't know he was going to integrate tonight. Oh, you didn't? No. We'd like to say thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, thank all of y'all. Don't wait on me, boy. We feel very lucky to be working here tonight. You're lucky to be working anywhere tonight. But I feel good tonight. Yeah. But we're supposed to stick together, Freddie. That's right. Now, you are my partner, aren't you? Yeah. Now, prove that you're my partner. Well, you know when you got hit in the head? Yes. Who took you to the hospital? I don't know. I did. Well. Who paid the bill? I don't know. I did. Who hit me? I did. Well, I don't want you to get too belligerent with me tonight. Why not? If you get too belligerent, I'll put you in a box and ship you out into the middle of the ocean. I ain't going. I'm not going. You ain't going either? No. He's not going, she's not going, they're not going. Now, do you understand? Yeah. All right. Ain't nobody going. Come on. I know I ain't. Why do you have to say ain't? That's better than saying I wasn't. And I wasn't going. No. That's wrong. What's wrong? I arsn't going. I don't care if you arsn't. I isn't with you either. No. Freddie, I is a pronoun. You is? Thought you was colored. Oh, come on now. You don't know what you want to be, do you? No, Freddie. I don't want you to get too belligerent with me tonight because we have to work together. All right. But I'm a little perturbed with you. Well, why? You remember when we were outside? Yeah. And the hold-up man came? Yeah. And you ran. He had a gun. No, he simulated a gun. Well, I didn't want to end up with a simulated hole in my head either. Weren't you familiar with guns when you were in the Army? Yeah. And I didn't stay there long. Well, why not? They shot at me one time. One time? That's all they had time for. Oh, yeah. I was a running little dummy. Well, how do you know they shot at you the one time? I heard that bullet twice. How can you hear one bullet twice? Once when it passed me, and again when I passed it. Oh, yeah! Evidently, you didn't stay in the Army very long. No, they threw me out because I went on a furlong. Furlough. Furlong. Furlough. I went too far and stayed too long. Furlong. But I feel good now. Yeah. Well, you have to be very brave, Freddie, because if you're not, my sister will never go out with you. She always wants to go out with a brave man. Your sister? Yeah. Ugly as she is? No, wait a minute. My sister isn't ugly. You ever seen your sister? Wait a minute. Lady, you ever seen your sister? Wait. Ugly for no reason at all. Come on. Ugliest gal I ever seen. You haven't seen her recently. Saw her the other day, and she looked like a little old woman. She went home and put that makeup on, didn't she? Didn't work, did it? Didn't look like a little old woman then. Looked like a little old man then. Oh, come on. Well, anyway, you have to have money when you take my sister out. I got $2. $2? Yeah. Oh, that's not enough for her to buy soap to take a bath with. You see, that dirty I ain't gonna take out no how. Come on. Boy, is she ugly. My sister. That's right. Well, you can't do anything about that. I know that, but I feel good tonight. Yeah? Yeah. Like that suit. You like this? Yeah. Boy, you look like $1 million. You've never seen $1 million. That's what I mean. You look like something I ain't never seen before.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was really surprised when Jack Benny said he was going to throw me a party. I was very dubious, but I think he really means it. I mean, he's making plans. So let's go to Jack's hotel suite and see what's going on.
Gosh, what a beautiful suite of rooms. I hope it's not too expensive. Well, maybe I can help with the dishes or something. That I don't understand at all. Hello? Mr. Gleason? Put him on, please. Da-da-dum-bum. Hello, Jackie. Oh, fine. I want to tell you something. This is the most beautiful hotel and the most gorgeous suite of rooms I've ever seen in my life. By the way, Jackie, who owns this hotel? You do? Well, all I can tell you, it's the last word in suites. You know, I took a shower this morning. There were 3 faucets, hot, cold, and vodka. I've got the happiest body in town. Okay, Jackie, I'm going to get ready for the party. Now, this party is for you. You're welcome. Goodbye. Now, let's see. I must get the directory. I got to look up the delicatessen. So I can order the food. What's that? Oh, that's the door. Service. You sure made it fast.
Thank you, sir.
Let's see if everything is the way I ordered it. The sandwich. Yes. Now let's see. Look, if I told them once, I told them a dozen times. I never have raisins in my tapioca.
Yes, sir. Would you like cherry jubilee without the cherries?
No, thank you.
Without the jubilee?
No, thanks. I'll just have the sandwich and coffee. Let me have the check, please.
Oh, there's no check, sir. You're the guest of Mr. Gleason.
You mean Gleason pays for everything? Well, look, I'll have the cherry jubilee with the cherries.
Yes.
How sweet it is. There's the door again. I'm sorry, miss, but you must have the wrong room.
Well, don't you want your bedroom made up?
Well, look, I'm having a sandwich, and I have some calls to make, so could you come back later?
Oh, in about an hour?
Yeah, sooner, I think. Here you are. There you are. Come back anytime.
Thank you. I'll see you in about an hour.
Sooner. Yeah, I never saw a hotel like this. I like it. Oh, golly. Da-da-dum-bum-bum-bum. thought that was me. There's the door again. Yes, who is it?
Telegram for Mr. Jack Benny.
Well, slide it under the door. I just took a shower, and I'm undressed.
Don't worry, Mr. Benny. Mr. Gleason took care of the tip.
Thank you.
How do you take a shower without getting your clothes wet?
Never mind. It's from George Burns. Dear Jack, you owe me $10. To me, that was not a tremendous ovation. Gee, if I'm going to give this party, I must look up a delicatessen. Let's see. D for delicatessen. D, let's see, delicatessen under the D's. Delivery service, diesel trucks, dentists, must be over here. Dames. Dames? See, they have everything here. Delicatessen, oh, here it is. Let's see. Surfside Delicatessen. Hey, wait a minute. I called them when I gave a party last year. Certainly. Da-da-dum, bum-bum-boom. Dee-da-dum, bum-bum-bum. Gee, that's beautiful. I love that number. Da-da-dee-da-dum, bum-bum. Hello, Surfside Delicatessen. This is Jack Benny. I gave a party when I was here last year, and I'm giving another one, and I want you to cater it again. Hello? 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 We must have been cut off. I better dial them back. Da-da-dum, ba-bum-boom. Dee-dum, bum, ba-ba-bum. Da-da-dum, ba-ba-boom. Hello, Surfside Delicatessen. This is Jack Benny, and I think we were cut off. We weren't? Hello? Hello? Well, if they don't want to give me an estimate, they have a right to dissent, I guess. Let's see, there's another one. Here's Sam's Delicatessen. Sam. Yeah, da-da-da-dum, da-dee-da-dum. I might as well sing mine once in a while. Da-dum, bum-bee, da-da-dum. Imagine a maid wearing a mink coat. Hello? Hello, Sam's Delicatessen? Let me talk to Sam, please. He's not in? Or when will he be back? Oh, he conducts the orchestra on the Jackie Gleason show? Oh, for heaven's sakes. And he also owns this delicatessen? Well, I wanted to order some food for a party, but I'll talk to Sam at rehearsal. Yeah. Gee, I didn't know Sammy Spear owned a delicatessen. Maybe he'll give me a rate on this thing. He must be making a fortune. All those sport coats and everything. I don't know why he's so cheap with it. Hey, wait a minute. What am I doing? The waiter said that I was a guest of Gleason's. For heaven's sake, he pays for everything. Hello, room service, please. This is Jack Benny, and I'm giving a party tomorrow night, and I'd like to order the food now. I want enough for about 50 people. Chicken, roast beef, a turkey, caviar. Yes, caviar. About 50 dozen eggs. I also want ice cream, petit fours, and coffee. And send up the plumber. The shower's out of vodka.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you enjoyed the show tonight because you saw several sensational performers. We only have time to introduce a few here in our closing. First, Jack Benny. You wouldn't like this, Jack. It has raisins in it.
You won't like it either because it has nothing in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, as usual, the Miami Beach audience is the greatest audience in the world.
Well, Jello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by our wonderful crew. We have John Henderson here. Hey, John.
Oh,
And Hope Sears. Hey, Hope. And Kathy Fuller-Seeley. We are here to present another Jackie Gleason. We already had one of them. This is the second Jackie Gleason episode we're presenting because Jack appeared at least twice. I'll keep seeing if another one pops up, but I would guess it would just be these two, once in 69 and once in 70. But anyway, he did a great job here. I enjoyed the beginning more than the last beginning of the last episode. I don't know. I like him. I like the whole Jack walking around Jackie Gleason and saying it's the first time he could walk all the way around Jackie Gleason without having to use oxygen afterwards or something. I thought that worked pretty good. It was kind of funny. And Jackie seemed to get a kick out of it. And so they were good. I think in the last one, they made it, the beginning joke was like that Jack was the first one not to make fun of his weight and things, right? And so this one starts out right off the bat with him doing a joke about his weight. So I thought that was interesting. But it was a more polite joke because they were saying he's actually lost weight, which is good. But anyway, but it was fun. Again, a fun one to watch. So let's go through and talk about this one a little bit. And we'll go with Kathy first. Kathy, what's stood out to you?
Again, thank you for finding this one because Jackie Gleason's show from Miami Beach is a long ago memory. I'm really struck by its live on tapeness.
Yes.
To think that no one would do this today unless it was now we'd call it reality TV and we'd have to see other people performing or doing stunts or something like that. So just that it runs off a sort of sheer celebrity, but with a very vocal, very happy audience watching it. Indeed, it looked like Jackie had lost weight. I mean, or at least he's got a bigger jacket that's loose. So good for him. We said very enjoyable, nice repartee between the two of them. But you know, this was I guess this is what an hour of television was like. As I said, I was talking earlier about I think they were making a vague Woodstock reference when Jack says he'd like to throw Jackie Gleason a big party and have a band and whatever. And then and when Gleason says, let's just go ahead, just rent, a piece of abandoned land and have people run around in the mud. I think that was an older adult looking back askance at Woodstock. So
yeah, there you go. Well, John, what were your thoughts on this one?
I would say this was sort of an average episode of television. I think if this was the first episode of Jackie Gleason that I'd seen, I would have been excited about it and found it really interesting. I found it very similar to the other episode of Jackie Gleason that we did with Jack Benny as a guest. So it was no worse and no better. Well, maybe it actually was a little bit better. Maybe the other one was a little more jam-packed and this one was a little, more well-paced. So I enjoyed it. I liked watching Jack and him interacting with Jackie.
There was a guy on last week that you always talk about. Last time. King, what's his name?
Alan King.
And so I think that would help your enjoyment of the last one because you're kind of an Alan King fan.
I did really like that one. I liked the stand-up guy here, Sonny Sands or whatever his name was, although he's not nearly as funny as Alan King. So
right.
So yeah, I do think the other one was maybe a little bit better. Oh, you got a ventriloquist. That's always fun.
That was
Yes.
fabulous, and an African American ventriloquist at that. So,
Yeah.
on the other hand, here was something of 1969 or 1970-ish. Hooray, so it was a mix of the old and something kind of current.
And I thought the ventriloquist did a nice job. I was
Oh,
very
he was
happy
a really
with
good
that.
ventriloquist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very good.
No, that was great.
Let's go over to Hope. Hope, of these shows, we're seeing Jack on lots of different things like this, and of course with Jimmy Durante, we saw him, and we've seen him on lots of different shows, and Laugh In and so forth. Uh, do you enjoy like Jack on his own show more, or do you like him when he's appearing on these little bits, or are they just different? I don't know.
I probably would say I like him better on his own show. But I don't mind these appearances. Sometimes they're really great. But also, it's a variety act, so
Yeah.
sometimes you catch a couple acts that you don't like.
Well,
So
let me put it this way. I think that I love Jack's show. I really do.
mhm,
And we have it until 1965. But knowing if we knew Jack was going to be gone by 74, I think I might have chosen for it to be this way because what you get is by him not having his own show, he has time to do a bunch of these guest performances on
yeah,
lots of different people's shows and appear on the Tonight Show and everything. Had he been doing his own show, if they
Yeah.
somehow renewed and kept his own show on the air for the next 10 years, we would have a lot more episodes of his own show. But I don't think we'd see him as often in the Tonight Show, as often on all these things.
right.
And it's kind of nice having it. And man, I keep digging and finding new stuff. I mean, where
Yeah.
he's on the Bob Hope special, or he's on a Bing Crosby special, or he's on the Playhouse, or he's on the
I do enjoy seeing him
yeah,
on a couple of different shows. It depends though.
yeah,
Some things are going to be a hit or a miss
yep,
for you, I think, and as is like all of television.
yep,
Um, but yeah, I do enjoy like especially the Tonight Show. Um, I think what I do enjoy though about him having his own show is I think when you have your own show, it's much easier to market that to another generation.
yes,
Um, because if you're just having these little appearances, then you suddenly have to know a bunch about pop culture history that, it's not really packaged well
yeah,
to kind of be like here, like instead of a show like with Jack as an established personality, kind of a sitcom kind of feel, it's much easier to introduce that to somebody
yeah.
than it is to be like, watch this random special from
Mhm.
1969.
Oh, for sure. I
Yeah,
agree with that.
so,
Yeah, yeah,
All right. So
so
here,
I think because I already so out there in my interest for people my age, I'm like
yes,
anything I can do to like sell you on this thing that I love so much and introduce it to a friend is much I love that a lot. But I do enjoy seeing especially interviews. Like I wish Jack did more interviews,
yes,
honestly, because that's what I really would like to see. That's really what I enjoy seeing, and it's also easier to give somebody that too. Um, it's it's just great. So I really appreciate the Tonight Show interviews, but a lot of times because of the nature of television at the time, like it's not like they have YouTube, so they're often repeating the same
yes,
stories over and over
yep,
again. So I really appreciate like we have on the um our YouTube channel for Jack Benny, we have the Frost interview,
yes.
which is a really good long kind of comprehensive interview which you wouldn't really get to see on
Right.
something like the Tonight Show. So I really enjoy those.
Oh,
Uh,
he did. That was a wonderful interview, and I loved it. And what's not the problem with it is that unfortunately, with the way they aired it on the International Jack Benny Fan Club, is that which is a great site to go to and see stuff there, and and watching it there is lovely too. But there's huge like where all of a sudden it
gaps.
turns black for almost a
Yeah, I
minute,
wish
and then it
Laura
comes
had
back.
given that to me to edit just a little bit.
Yes. So when we presented it and did
Yeah.
an intro to it,
Yeah,
and when I did that, I cut it so that
that's
it
the way to do
flows
it.
like way better.
Yeah.
It doesn't just all of a sudden stop over and over again, which is nice.
But Buck, you're being too kind in covering for the fact that I did not watch this one this week. We recorded 2 in a row, and I had watched one. I watched the Jimmy Dean one with Jimmy Durante, and the Lennon Sisters, but I have not watched this one. So you are doing a great job of covering for me, but I think I'll just listen to you guys talk, and at the end we can decide whether or not I'm going to watch it.
All good. All
Oh,
good.
you're gonna watch it.
I tried to cover for you, man. I gave you every opportunity.
You gave me a day. You gave me a
No,
day
no,
to
no.
watch it.
I mean, in this little
on a Friday
intro,
night.
I set you up
She
to
could have
just
had it on her
compare his
phone
appearances.
while we
It's
were.
all good. So
Yeah, a Friday night, we're going out, and like I only had time for one.
it's all good. I'm just glad you came and could be here. It's always wonderful to get your insights. Kathy,
Well, I think John had something to say.
John had
Well,
something.
I was gonna. Okay, listen. I was gonna.
John, do you have something to say?
I was gonna pose a question to you that anybody could answer, including Hope, having not seen this episode. What do you think if the Jack Benny show had continued and it hadn't been canceled and it went into the 60s, into the late 60s? What do you think the show would have been like? What do you think the show would? Because by the 60s, when Jack Benny was doing his specials, they ended up being kind of like this variety shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would the Jack Benny show have been like if it had continued? What are your thoughts?
My opinion is that it probably would have stayed roughly the same as it always been, because when he switched networks, you would have thought if you're ever going to change anything, that would have been the time to change it. And when he switched networks for that last season, he did it pretty much like all the other seasons. You can't really tell that he even changed networks 100%. So
Okay.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, those last seasons, he was being asked to do 35 episodes a season
Mhm.
that he could tape ahead of time. What if he went back to what he was doing in his earliest television era, which was a variety show where, he'd have, someone come out and sing more songs, and
Yes.
it took place on a stage where you'd have maybe one skit, with a set on the stage. So he might have gone back to that. He might have done, what was he doing not on television? He was in Vegas doing stand-up monologues, so he could have done more monologue. And what he'd been doing during the summers on stage for years, monologue, somebody else perform a one-on-one skit, something like that.
Well, no, actually, I know what would have happened. Here's what would have happened. He would have grabbed Phil Harris, and Phil Harris would have been a regular. He would have had Dennis start appearing every week. And I believe because he got those two on there, Mary would have been able to have been talked out of retirement, come back on. He would have had 10 years. It was very much like his radio show, been his most popular ever in color. It would have been a color version of like the radio show, and it would have been amazing. But we were robbed of that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Not for like, any other reasons.
What do you think it would have been like?
I think he probably had the right amount of episodes, to be honest, because I feel like he was getting kind of played out. I mean, Laura has said she's seen some episodes that haven't been released or whatever in libraries that she finds it very sad to look at some of the sketches and stuff, because it's Jack really out of his element trying to kind of be new, and it's like so I don't know. I enjoy kind of seeing Jack try new things. But I don't know. I feel like it would have been maybe more of a show like Carol Burnett.
Mhm.
which it kind of already a little bit was.
Yeah.
So I think we would have seen just like Carol level, like, kind of performances. Carol should
Well,
have
and Carol Burnett's
Carol
show came on what, 67, I think, sometime
yeah.
around then. So Jack hadn't even had a chance to see it before he was off the air. So
Yeah,
it
she was
would be
on.
interesting if Jack, because he's off the air before Laughing, he's off the air before the Smothers Brothers really take off and things. There might be no, I don't think there's overlap. I think Smothers Brothers came on after him. Now that I think
Yeah.
about it, but had he been around, his show been around, they're writing it all the way through 1970, let's say, because I can't imagine he wouldn't have got canceled at least in 70, 71 with the rural purge and everything. I think he would have gone with all those shows because,
And yet they were happy to have his specials.
yeah, of course.
One
But
network
specials
or
are a
the
lot
other,
different
so,
than a regular show. So, but would some of that have rubbed off on him, is what I'm saying, from like the Carol Burnett show, from the Laugh-In, from the Smothers Brothers show? I don't know. It would be interesting to see if he would have, if he and his writers would have picked up on some of that and started playing around with it. I don't know.
they could have done, if Jackie Gleason revived the Honeymooners
Yeah.
on this show, he could have had a recurring sketch where now we're going to do a sketch of being on the Jack Benny,
Yeah.
at my house with the
That would
old
have been
gang.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would have
and
liked
then
to see more music.
yes.
I mean, him playing more. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes.
what he
Yes.
was doing with symphonies. So.
Well, the other thing I thought I'd point out, because we've been dancing around it sort of, and I've thought of it a couple times as we've been going, but I'm going to say it now before I forget, because I'm an old man. But the but but I think one thing that he does on his specials is he tries to, and I get it. I mean, you're doing a special, you want to appeal to as broad of an audience as you can, so you have some younger stuff, some older stuff, and back and forth. But I will say, when that's one of the reasons I think it works when he's on other people's shows. Because yes, they do that as part of their show. They'll have some younger performer on, or a ventriloquist, a young ventriloquist, or whatever, right? Like this. But Jack then becomes, his niche becomes appealing to the older audience, and he doesn't have to try to play to the younger audience. So they don't really want him to. They want him. We're the reason you're on our show is because you bring in this audience, this older audience that loves you and enjoys you, and that's great. So,
although I would say two of my that leaves out his fabulous parodies of Midnight Cowboy and The Graduate. So those are two of the sharpest things I've ever seen. So that's Jack. So he not only appealed to the older, but when given time, space, and good writers.
Yeah, well, yeah. And he needed to, I think, and like you say, those ones work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work when Jack's trying to appeal to younger audience, but he definitely does that on his specials, but on his appearances on other shows, doesn't have to. So
Midnight Cowboy. Have we done the Engelbert Humperdinck show yet?
I don't think so. Maybe.
We must fight. We must. To see him to see Jack Benny playing Rizzo the Rat is amazing. Amazing.
That sounds great. I don't know if I have access to the whole Ingrid. I want to say there's.
I found it on YouTube. So
the whole show,
for,
the whole episode.
Yeah, I think the whole show. So
I'll double check it and see if I got that or if it's out there.
We got it just for the name.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he had a catchy name. I mean, why change it if your name's Engelbert?
The poor man's Tom Jones. So
yeah. But it showed you who could have a show back then. You had that, and you had who's the guy that sings Blue Velvet? Bobby Vinton had his own show for
Tony Orlando and Dawn.
Yeah, it's like everybody had their own show.
Before we wrap up, we never actually talked about Jack's longer skit performance on the Jackie Gleason show. And I'm not sure if this would sell the episode to Hope to make her want to see it, but I found it unusual. And then it's a long solo piece with Jack in his hotel room making many Jackie Gleason jokes, references from the doorbell sound to the, whatever. So I'm not sure how successful it was because it was probably written by Jackie Gleason's writers. But that was asking a lot of Jack to do a 10 to 12 to 15-minute sketch all by himself on that stage. So,
that was, and it was delightful to see him do that. like you say, whether it worked 100% or didn't work, it's just neat to see an extended bit with Jack. Yeah.
It was just sort of slow and quiet and sweet, and it made me wonder, where are the June Taylor dancers?
Yeah.
You know, so that's other than the one who shows up in the fur coat who's the maid. So that's
Well, it just shows. I mean, Jack can do so many things. He just never ceases to amaze me because he can do that, and then he could do the one where one of his specials we had where he's telling the joke that gets interrupted, and then like everybody and their mother and the cows and every come across and are in there. I mean, that's a
was
completely
fabulous,
different thing than this, and yet he can pull them both off. So yeah, he's great.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll add is I saw a online video where a 12-year-old was being asked, things to see what they knew, and the 12-year-old had never heard of the Yellow Pages.
Yep, I saw
And
it
that bit is, has a whole thing of the Yellow Pages. So, yeah, it reminded me of that, and yeah.
Well, how many things that a kid.
Even
I mean, I should do this with the kids at my school because they're middle schoolers, and what have they ever heard of? And things that you just kind of assume everybody knows, they have no experience with whatsoever. So interesting. Well, I'm going to throw out something that I was going to mention at the beginning of this, but I'll mention it now. I think I'm going to do something new because that folks can have access to if you want, sort of thing. So there's shows that I can't air on YouTube, or sometimes I try and it'll tell me, no, that's copyrighted, you can't share that, whatever. But that I have in my collection, and some of them we've done intros to. I mean, we have one that I just love that we did an intro and we made it be like an old movie night, and so we come on and we introduce the Jack Benny cartoon, the mouse that Jack built, which you can't share on YouTube. We have newsreels that you can share on YouTube, but it's kind of cool to have a collection of newsreels. We have a short that Jack did with Tyrone Power, and it's a very nice, it's a very fun piece that was done to kind of promote Charlie's Aunt, and that he was going to be doing Charlie's Aunt, and that it was okay for him to do Charlie's Aunt, because what it is he's with all these manly guys, and they're all saying, "Oh no, that's great! I would have done Charlie's Aunt. That's great. You do Charlie's Aunt," sort of thing. And then after that, we present Buck Benny Rides Again, which you also can't put on YouTube, but it's so frustrating because I wish it was out there where you could buy it, but you can't even buy it. It's just, but it's on the Internet Archive or whatever, and so you can watch it. But if you want to watch this thing that we put together, a way you can do that is if you donate at any level on my Patreon or PayPal or whatever, I'll give you access to it, so you could have access to it. So I thought, why don't each month I present something that is a special piece that I, for whatever reason, I can't air on YouTube, and you guys can enjoy it at least if you want to watch it, because I just want people to be able to enjoy Jack Benny and the wonderful things he's done, and that's it. So there you go. So feel free to catch that. Certainly down below in their comments and things, we've got where you can, or the show notes, I guess they're called, is where it has a link to my Patreon and stuff. So feel free, even for like $1 or whatever, I'm happy to do that, because I want to start paying we need to get more money, because I do what is it for appearance on the Jack Benny show? It's like he's got guests that appear for like $5,000. This costs me $20,000 a week to pay each of these people $5,000.
Wow. I'll just take a Packard.
Well, maybe
like
not.
Marilyn Monroe, or
someday maybe I'll pay them $5,000. Enough people donate.
Buck, to get around copyright, have you tried flipping the image, skewing it, and making it about this big? Because I've seen that.
I've seen people do that for sure.
Could we do a Mystery Science Theater 3000 and have us in the middle and us commenting on it? So
I don't know. That might work. Who knows? That would be fun doing that.
That'd be a fun watch party.
Yeah. But I don't even know if you can do it like that. But I know.
Imagine, what would you have to do every time he said "well" and we take a drink?
Yeah,
Or-
Yeah,
great.
it's a
That would
drinking
be
game.
slosh. That'd be wonderful. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this Jackie Gleason show. It's wonderful. And the Jackie Gleasons, there are probably 2 or 3 seasons from this time frame out there
Wow.
on Internet Archive, and then there's quite a few out on YouTube as well. But the Internet Archive, I think, has like a long run. Though I will say the Internet Archive ones I've looked at, they're nice and everything. Had I not seen these YouTube ones, but the YouTube ones are clearer and are high resolution or whatever. So,
I for a while I was considering how I wanted to watch the Honeymooners.
Yeah.
And so I looked into it. I did some research, and what is it? Time Life had released a set, and you could buy an incredible collection of not only the Honeymooners, but all of the Jackie Gleason show and all of these specials released on DVD. But it was just a little too much for me, so I just got the regular Honeymooners collection. But that is something that's out there.
Okay, that's excellent. I wish somebody put something out there like that on Jack that had like everything. And if you had to go on installments to pay for the thing, I'd go on
That'd be
installments
great.
to pay for
But
it.
like the Shout Factory says, they didn't make enough money from the one they did.
From the volume
So,
one, yeah.
So
And I
so
keep
it's
pushing
gotta
that
be
for
about
people to get it. But
it's got to be about love and not the money. So
yeah. Well, we've got the love, and we don't have any money, so it works out pretty
Yay!
well. All right. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy. Anything else about this one we're going to throw out there, guys?
No, other than the Miami Beach audience is the greatest in the world.
There you go. There you go.
So I guess I will have to watch it, Kathy. I guess
You need to watch it.
if there's a long-standing bit with Jack in there, I guess I will tune in if it's not all Lennon sisters dancing.
Yes. I promise you, there are no Lennon sisters in this episode. That's a plus.
Yeah, even the June Taylor dancers are barely in.
Yeah. I just wonder if they were cut out for what we get to see, because these shows are only 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Now I know that you still got commercials, but
Yeah, there is a weird edit when he's about to say his thank you. So that there must be things cut out.
Yeah. Well, and I got to say, the beginning of both these episodes of Gleason, which must be the episodes of all the Gleason, are a little cringy when the spokesmodel type women come out to start the show and introduce it and say who the guest stars are and things. It's like, okay, that's a little weird, but
well, it was the heyday still of Playboy.
Yep.
And and women willing to do that.
Yep.
So
well, I think they make a joke about Playboy at some point and the bunny. Oh no, that's I think that's on the other one.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it with
Jimmy Durante and the other video?
His magic thing or something.
Yeah, he throws
pulls
out
a
a bunny front, and makes a Playboy reference. Yeah.
So tune into that one too, folks, for the Playboy jokes. There you are. All right. Anyway, see y'all next week. Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to tune in next week for the Jackie Gleason Show, starring Jackie Gleason and Art Carney, with Jerry Collins, Rodney Dangerfield, Timmy Rogers, and special guest star Milton Berle. This is Johnny Olson speaking for the Jackie Gleason Show. Furs provided by Adrian Thaw. Jewelry supplied by Mayors of Florida. Additional material for Jack Benny by Hilliard Marks. Tonight's program was recorded.